Tonight, Kauffman Stadium will host a showdown between a Royals slayer and a couple of Tiger tamers. Justin Verlander is 9-2 against the Royals in his career and pitched his first career shutout here in KC. But he'll have to deal with Scott Pasednik, who is hitting .556 against the Tigers this year, and Jason Kendall, who's at .481. Put your game face on. Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. After a slow start to the homestand, the Royals offense took charge last night with 13 hits and 7 runs against Max Scherzer, who was coming off the best start of his career. And now the Royals will try and back that up tonight against Justin Verlander in Game 2. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And the top 3 hitters in the Royals lineup last night did most of the heavy lifting. And leadoff man Scott Pasednik's batting average had really taken a dip over the past couple of weeks. So the solution for him is just to play the Detroit Tigers.
That's a great solution. When you're struggling, you need to face a team or a pitcher that you're doing well against. But Scott Pasednik has 3 weapons. He's got his legs, he's got his ability to bunt, and he also has the ability to stay back, use his hands, and hit the ball where it's pitched.
.556 for Pasednik against the Tigers, and it's not just the Tigers. He's had a good year overall against the entire Central Division. Recently, Jason Kendall was elevated to the number 2 spot in the batting order, and last night he came up with 3 RBIs.
Well, if you talk to Jason Ryan, he says it doesn't matter where he hits, but when he fits in that number 2 spot, he can let those fast guys steal. He's got patience to take the pitch, and he can advance runners by being able to hit the ball the other way.
Great hitting second this year and over his career. He's right at .300. Tonight, the Royals are going up against Justin Verlander, having a good year. He's going for his 6th win, but so is Luke Hochevar. And one of Luke's best starts this season came against the Tigers here at Kauffman Stadium. We'll talk about them when we come back. Ball is brought to you tonight by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. took the Royals 10 tries to finally beat Justin Verlander, and in his career against the Royals, he is 9-2, and the American League this year is hitting just .215 against him. But we don't want to diminish the year that Luke Hochevar's had so far. He's going up against Verlander. Here's the Kia report.
Well, Luke has been really a savior for this team right now, Ryan. Won all 3 starts after a loss. And the good thing he's doing right now is he's keeping those cleanup hitters off the base at 179 average.
Here's a lineup he will face tonight presented by M&I Bank, and there are a lot of changes. Don Kelly will hit second. Johnny Damon will move down to number 3. Brennan Bosch will play in the field. He's in right. Carlos Guillen is at second base. Alex Avila is the catcher. Ramon Santiago the shortstop. Those are all changes from last night's batting order. We had been hearing about Brennan Bosch. Last night we saw what he can do with the bat.
Well, Ryan, it was very impressive. He comes in and takes the first pitch from Kyle Farnsworth and deposited it deep in the right field for a 3-run home run. He's a young rookie. He's a young slugger, and the Tigers are really excited about having him on their ball club.
We showed you that Luke Hochevar's done very well against number 4 hitters this year. Justin Verlander has had a lot of trouble with the Royals' number 4 hitter in his career. Billy Butler hits .414 against Justin Verlander. It's the Royals and the Tigers, and the first pitch is next. Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Brian Lefevre with Frank White in the shade with the fan blowing, and out in the sun in right field is Joel Goldberg.
I'll tell you what, it's 6 o'clock and you can work on your suntan right now. Scorching out here. Fans getting ready to watch this one. Luke Hochevar on the hill, guys, and we were talking last time about the addition of that split finger fastball for Luke, a pitch he threw in high school, and he's been working on a little bit. And I know you guys were talking. Now, is it split finger? Is it changeup? Which one? Is it both? Luke just doesn't really feel all that good about his changeup, and that's the reason to go to a pitch that used to work for him. And what we're seeing in the video is a pitch that he can use as a strikeout pitch, and he's comfortable using. Is that still not throwing it a ton, maybe about a half a dozen times last time, but it has worked in getting the strikeouts. As of right now, the changeup is out, the split finger is in, guys.
And if you're the Tigers and you go over the scouting report for Luke Hochevar, you have to be prepared for quite a bit because he has so many pitches, and now you add the split. On Monday, Memorial Day, Luke took the loss against the Angels. That was a 7-1 Angels win, but Luke hung in there and gave the Royals 7 innings. He gave up 2 home runs in the first 3 innings, and prior to that, he had given up just 2 home runs in his first 61 innings. And you wonder if we're seeing the trickle effect, if you will, Frank, of Ned Yost telling Luke in his first start after Ned took over as manager, we need more from you. Even in a loss, he goes 7 innings.
Well, I think accountability is always good, and I think that Luke got bailed out at some early games where he got in a little trouble. He left the game with a lead, and sometimes the guys that come in behind you don't hold that lead. So it's easy to say, well, I pitched well for 6 innings, I got a quality start, but like I said, if you could bump that up 1 more inning, then I think that is a true quality start.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Austin Jackson, who's off to a very good start. But last night, 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts, and that gives him 60 and ties him for the American League lead with Carlos Pena. Strikeout number 61. "91 degrees. We started at 6:10, so that means there's going to be plenty of sunlight in the outfield for the first hour or so. Time and temp brought to you by the Parking Spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The Parking Spot at KCI. It will be most difficult on the right fielder. The waning sunlight. This is Don Kelly. We saw him late in the game last night as a pinch hitter. He is in left field tonight. Johnny Damon is the designated hitter. And the Royals, at least early in the game, won't have to worry about Maglia Ordonez. Played on the fastball, 2 balls and 1 strike. Luke has gone at least 7 innings in his last 3 starts.
You know, we talk about accountability, and you know what I think accountability does, it allows you to go home with something on your mind every night. If you don't have accountability, whatever you do, then you tend, okay, I'll be there tomorrow, we'll try it again. But when someone comes to you and say, this is what you have to be able to do, then you have to go and think about it and try to get it right. When I first came up, Whitey pulled me in the office and he said, if you can't bunt, if you can't hit and run, if you can't advance runners and play defense, you can't play for me. So you have to have that accountability put on you right away as a young player and not be given that carte blanche of whatever you do out there is acceptable. And I think that's what Ned Yost has brought to the club since he's taken over, is that the sense of accountability. You perform, you're going to play. If you don't perform, you're not going to play.
Pretty simple stuff.
Pretty simple stuff.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, we go back to Luke's first start after Ned Yost took over. And it was back on May the 15th. Luke went 6 very good innings. He had the lead. And maybe the start before that, the week before that, the month before that, that would have been enough. He has struck out the first 2 tonight. So a lot of standing around on defense so far. The Royals in the outfield have Scott Pasednik, Mitch Meyer, and David DeJesus. On the infield, Alberto Callaspo, Yuniesky Betancourt, Mike Aviles, and Billy Butler, and Jason Kendall behind the plate. So David has his hands full with that sunlight. He's got the sunglasses on and hoping, at least for the first few innings, that the ball stays away from him, at least in the air.
He is definitely the hottest player on the field right now. They say he's going to be taking over left field at some point, and it sort of works itself around. But that right fielder, he takes it the entire summer.
Damon 2 for 5 with a double last night. That was as the number 2 hitter. And Luke, I think, realizing that he has good stuff. And he also knows that it's difficult on the hitters during the 6-10 games. The pitcher is in the shade. The backdrop is in the bright sunlight. That's an advantage for the pitchers, and he's just coming right at the Tigers. And that is rolled back to him, and a very easy top of the first inning. Batting order presented by M&I Bank, in the exact same batting order as last night. That scored 7 runs on 13 hits. Billy Butler had been 2 for his last 21. He got 2 hits last night. He has 2 career home runs and 12 hits against Justin Verlander. And now Kia will tell us more about Justin Verlander.
Well, Ryan, you can see what lefties and righties do against him. Not very good on both sides. But fastballs early in the count, like Zach, he likes to establish his fastball early. And if he's on with the fastball, it's going to be a good night for Justin Verlander.
And that fastball can be anywhere from 92 to 99. That one's at 94. And ball 1 to Pasednik. Still only 27 years old, although it seems like he's been around forever. And he's accomplished quite a bit in somewhat of a short career. Pasednik hits it hard again. He's had a great year against the Tigers, but lines out to Jackson and 1 away. Jackson joined by Don Kelly and Brennan Bosch in the outfield. Brandon Inge, Ramon Santiago, Carlos Guillen, and Miguel Cabrera around the horn. Santiago and Guillen were not starters last night, and neither was Alex Avila. So several changes for Jim Leland for tonight's game. A strike to Jason Kendall. 3 hits and a walk, 3 RBIs last night. One ball, 1 strike. So batting second and doing well is nothing new for Jason Kendall. 353 in that position this year and 300 for his career. There's a Verlander curveball, which had Kendall convinced that was a fastball up.
Well, that's one of those hard curveballs that he throws it at the hitter, make him flinch a little bit, then it just comes right down over the plate.
Verlander has been fastball, knuckle curveball, great changeup, but apparently he has added a slider, and it's not just a 4th pitch. It is referred to now as an above average pitch, and 2 line drives to center field for Verlander. 2 away. He has lost his last 2 starts against the Oakland A's and the Seattle Mariners. Before that, he had won 4 in a row.
Well, Ryan, he's one of those guys that really likes to work. He likes the baseball. Last year, he threw 300 more pitches than anybody else in Major League Baseball last year. And this offseason, He worked on his legs. He wanted to keep his legs strong. And his whole goal is, I want to complete a game when you get me the ball.
He has one complete game so far this year. Averages about 6 1/3 innings per start. First round pick of the Tigers back in 2004 out of Old Dominion. And just great numbers across the board. Doesn't walk many, among the league leaders in strikeouts. Far fewer hits than innings pitched. DeJesus pulls it fair, and Cabrera, what does he not do? Verlander faces 3 in the first. In the first inning. I want to welcome all of our Sunflower broadband customers, and many of them are at Kauffman Stadium today. Sunflower has served customers in Lawrence, Kansas since 1970, and before the game, a Sunflower customer, Mike Engel, threw out today's first pitch to Rod Kittemeyer, the general manager of Sunflower Broadband. Rod was interviewed by Nate Bucati during Hy-Vee Royals Live, which is appropriate with Nate going to KU. Probably watched a lot of Sunflower in college when he wasn't at the library. 1-1 on Miguel Cabrera, who made a great play on a shot from David DeJesus to end the bottom of the first inning. So a guy who is certainly known more for his bat than his glove made a pretty dandy play over there.
Well, this is one of those plays. This ball's by him, but he got stretched out and got the glove out there, and the ball came up in it. But, you know, he's getting better all the time. And I think he's one of those guys, Ryan, that for years to come, all of his game is going to be you're just going to admire everything he's able to do on the baseball field. I think that they had a nice crossover, one step and a dive. It was like he was getting back into first base on a pickoff attempt. So that was an outstanding play.
Two singles and a run scored for Cabrera last night. And Luke left a changeup or a splitter very high, too high for Cabrera to do anything with it, but he'd rather have that thing down than up.
Well, when you want to throw a split finger, Ryan, it better go down, because that's a good pitch to hang.
Got him with a hard slider. So Luke has struck out 3 of the first 4.
This is really putting it where you want it right here. You know, this ball, he had a good appearance to Miguel Cabrera right out of Luke's hands, and then got to the plate, just disappeared off the plate. Nice tight slider by Hochevar.
Now, hitters will say every now and then, sometimes you just need to tip your cap to the pitcher. And that's about as close to tipping your cap, or in this case, your helmet, to the pitcher. After Cabrera struck out, it's just a little slight nod of the head to himself as if to say, great pitch, I'm out. I didn't do anything wrong there. The pitcher made a great pitch.
You're right about that, Ryan, and I think that's one he's going to put in his memory bank. He won't forget that pitch next time up.
Brennan Bosch, the rookie, with the long 3-run home run last night that made it a 1-run game briefly, and Luke gets in on his hands, and Bosch is able to muscle it out into center field. So that's his 3rd hit of the series, and the Tigers have their first base runner.
One thing about Brandon Bosch, when you watch him, we've had a short look at him, but he's a guy that doesn't get cheated. When he lets the bat go, it's full force, and that's why he's able to muscle those balls out over the infield like that, because he doesn't check his swing, he just lets the bat go.
Carlos Guillen not in the lineup last night. He has been nursing a sore big left toe, and it seems like every year there's one injury that stands out more than others. This year it is the bad big left toe. Remember Victor Martinez when we played the Red Sox? He had missed a couple of games. Juan Rivera couldn't finish the Royals-Angels series that was just completed because he fouled a ball off of his left big toe. And with that bad left big toe, he drives it into center field, but Mitch Meyer coming out of nowhere to run it down, and then heaves it all the way to first. No double play, but a nice play in center by Meyer for the second out.
And this all starts with a pitcher that's throwing strikes. The defense is ready to go, and Mitch had a long run, but being a left-handed hitter, came back to him a little bit, but was in great shape to not only catch it, but to spin and make an effort to try to double him off at first base.
So Bosch back to first, 2 down. And now Brandon Inge, 1 for 4 last night. And he's after the first pitch, 0-1. Brandon Inge, just like Willie Bloomquist, having surgery on both of his knees during the offseason. And the bad knees really hurt Inge in the second half last year. Batted just .186. One ball, 1 strike. Brandon Inge has 15 career home runs against the Royals. And Luke continues to throw strikes, 1 and 2. Here's tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Who is more important to his rotation this year? Not the better pitcher, not the more proven pitcher. Luke Hochevar to the Royals, Justin Verlander to the Tigers. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, a space. A for Luke, B for Verlander. That's actually a very good question. I mean, Verlander has pitched a no-hitter. He's won Rookie of the Year. He's pitched in the World Series. He has 70 career wins. But as Ned Yost put it, and he told Luke Hochevar this right after taking over as manager, if the Royals go to the next level, then Luke Hochevar has to go to the next level.
Well, I think he's right. When you look at what Luke's done for this ball club, with Zach struggling, with Mesh struggling on the DL, I mean, he's a number 3 starter, and he's really picked it up right there. And I mean, everything sort of starts and stops with him at this point.
Well, he has struck out 4 in the first 2 innings. up in the second inning against Justin Verlander. A reminder to look for tonight's Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in the ballgame. So 3 up, 3 down for the Royals, but you have to remember that 2 of the outs were line outs to center field. And then David DeJesus lost an extra base hit thanks to a diving play on the line by first baseman Miguel Cabrera. So he was hardly dominating in the bottom of the first. 2 hits for Billy last night, 74 on the year. And better than a 400 career hitter against Verlander. No balls, 2 strikes.
No, that's slider right there. That's a pitch Billy's not familiar with Verlander. He's familiar with his changeup. He sees his changeup pretty good, but this is a good changeup. But it's a hard one. It almost looked like a slider.
And fastball in on the hands, and Billy unable to get those arms extended. Austin Jackson has handled 3 fly balls behind Verlander. So 1 away, and now Jose Guillen. Jose just 3 out of his last 25. 1 for 4 in last night's game with an infield single. Been a tough homestand for Jose. He has struck out 9 times against the Angels and the Tigers, and now he's moving up on the charts of the league leaders in the American League with 57. That's the 3rd most in the league. And an easy play for Cabrera as he dances across the line. 2 down. So Alberto Callaspo with 2 outs and nobody on. And let's take a look at tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Best fielding percentage at third base. And 2 of the top 3 are here tonight. Alberto Callaspo at .983. And remember, second base is his natural position. And he hasn't been around long enough to make any demands as far as where he was going to play this year. But he made it very clear that he would prefer second base over third. And I would have to think that the Royals feel like Callaspo has given them more than they had hoped so far defensively.
Well, you know, it's not an unfamiliar position, third base, to Alberto. I talked with Ozzie Guillen, manager of the White Sox, and in winter ball, that's where he plays, third base and left field mostly. So but you look at his reaction time over there, his ability to come in and fill slow rollers, whether it be with the glove, bare hand. He's done an outstanding job. I remember a few games there, he probably felt like he was in a pinball machine.
Well, that's part of playing third base. (54% to 46%). I think that Luke Hochevar is more important to the Royals rotation than Verlander is to the Tigers this year. In our sprint, you call it. Luke has pitched 2 scoreless innings with 4 strikeouts tonight. Verlander has retired the first 5.
I really like how Ned Yost phrased that to Luke. He said, if we're going to go to the next level, then you have to be part of that. And I think that is about as true a statement as you can make to a young pitcher.
Well, he was, after all, the first overall pick in the draft in 2006. And you're not usually just going after another player with that selection. Very close pitch. Callaspo takes it for ball 4. And the Royals have a runner with 2 outs.
We'll take a look at this pitch right here. He wanted it down, but it ran down off the plate. And now Alberto got one of the better eyes on the ball club, so he was able to lay off that pitch.
The Royals had several hitters last night who had long streaks without a hit and put an end to it. Alberto Callaspo was 0 for 10 and went 1 for 4. Mike Aviles, digging in now, was 0 for 12 and went 1 for 4. And behind him, Mike Aviles or behind Aviles is Mitch Meyer. He was 0 for 12 and got a hit last night.
Well, I like what Nate Yost has done with Mike Aviles, taking him out of that number 2 spot. I think it's really a big move for Mike, because now he can just concentrate on hitting. In the number 2 spot, he's got to worry about taking pitches. He's got to worry about what pitch Pasetnik might run on, and he's got to be a little more patient. A lot of times you give away that best pitch, that first pitch fastball. If you're not a real good 2-strike hitter, then that can affect you, especially when you start struggling.
Right field, Brendan Bosch with the sunglasses down makes the catch. And at the end of 2, no score. Score, and we go to the 3rd inning. We're going to talk about Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp with Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. And before we get to that, I want to ask you about Luke Hochevar, because even though you were a closer, you threw a lot of pitches. And Luke lately seems like he's kind of going back and forth between some pitches. He's about a 4 or 5 pitch guy. Do you come to a point in your career where you say, okay, these are my best 2 or 3, and I just stick with those?
I was always taught that if you can master 3 pitches, you can pitch in the big league. So I think focusing on 3 pitches that you have the ability to locate at any count, you're going to be very successful.
Well, his first pitch to Alex Avila is lined into center field. Second hit for the Tigers. It must have been a challenge for you, because you're just getting an inning here or there as a closer to maintain all your pitches.
Well, the key was to come in and really establish those pitches as early as I possibly could. And coming out of the bullpen, oftentimes I would know, maybe my changeup's good tonight. I'm going to see a lot of lefties. So I want to try to show that pitch early. So I would at least put it in the back of their mind that I got the ability to throw that changeup for a strike.
Only the second base runner for the Tigers, as Hochevar retired the first 4 and struck out 3. And ball 1 to the switch hitter Ramon Santiago. Well, let's talk about Alumni Fantasy Camp. Both of you guys are going to be there. Dina Wathen is in the back of the booth to make sure we say all the correct things. She's the chaperone of this here operation. Up the middle, that's going to be an easy double play.
I think that's what we call tailor-made, isn't it?
I don't know if he could have made that play without making a double play.
Well, the worst place to hit the ball with a runner running is up the middle, because everybody's converging, and Michael just right on top of second base when he made that play. Well, that's about as perfect a double play ball as you can get without having somebody throw it to you.
Sure, Luke's glad he didn't get his glove on that one.
Probably so.
So easy for us to be up here and say, well, a pitcher needs to pull his glove back on a play like that. Let it get to the middle infield.
I think I remember a play earlier in the season when Robin Tejeda had a chance to maybe snag a ball and hit off his glove. Remember, went in the right field, and I think it led to maybe a game-winning run. But the instincts are you want to try to snag everything you can. You're taught to do that. PFP, you do it a lot in spring training. You just want to try to get everything you can.
Well, it's nice talking. That was a great discussion about alumni fantasy camp. We'll talk to Monty in the bottom of the third inning. No score. Wrapping up a stint as district governor for the Northeast Kansas Rotary Clubs. He led his club to a small community in Mexico and built an adobe home. He also has worked tirelessly on Rotary International's drive to eliminate polio from the face of the earth and will join hundreds of fellow Rotarians at the Royals game tomorrow to strike out polio. It's Rotary Day at the K. We hope the gym is enjoying the game from the Buck O'Neill legacy seat at tonight's game. As we're visiting with Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery about Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp. We're going to get to it eventually, as 4 batters have been retired on 8 pitches. Mitch Meyer is 0 for 1. So, Monty, Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp. Tell us all about it.
Well, it's in February the 7th through the 11th. We go out on a Monday. We get right into action. We go through games during the course of the week. We'll have 4 teams normally. We play games. There's also a game that the campers play against the alumni, Frank and I, and everybody suit up and play against it. We've got a great lineup of Royals alumni that come to the camp as well.
It's interesting talking to you guys about Alumni Fantasy Camp because as we are trying to help encourage people to sign up for it, the alumni, it seems, have as much fun as the campers do.
Well, I think Frank would attest to that. We do have a great time with it, but every time I see a camper, they always remind me that it's the best time they've had of their life, and don't tell my wife because she'll be upset if I say it was more fun than my honeymoon.
Well, we have an opportunity to just tell some great stories, and I think even the guys, we have a lot of repeat guys, and even the repeat guys, every year they say this one was better than the first one, and I think that is because they see us having a lot of fun, and if they see us enjoying it just as much as they are, and it's not like it's work, it's more fun, and they seem to have more fun watching us do what we do.
You know, they do get a lot of sore muscles. They do have a lot of fun on the field, between the lines, but after the game's over, in the clubhouse, hearing the stories, hearing Big John Mayberry hold court, and George and Frank tell stories about the World Series, that's really, you know, the best part about the camp for all the campers who do attend. And again, the memories last a lifetime. I would encourage anyone who's ever thought about it, if you have the ability to do it, get in touch with the Royals, go to the Royals website and get information. You would really enjoy it.
Well, Monty, you were here for a full inning and a grand total of 13 pitches. Congratulations.
Well, thanks. I wanted to slow that half inning down now. I'm sorry.
No score at the end of 3. No score to the fourth inning. Let's see how Luke Hochevar and Justin Verlander have done with the radar gun. Luke has hit 98. Wow. Verlander at 97. Our Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Luke's first start of the year was against the Tigers here on April the 7th, and he didn't allow a single run in 7 2/3 innings. It was a very cold, rainy, windy night, and he had 96, 97, 98 several times that night, and we really haven't seen that from him since then. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Remember, now you can watch player locker room interviews anytime you want. Go to foxsportskansascity.com and click on the video link for 24-hour access to Royals info and video. Two balls and 2 strikes on Don Kelly. Luke struck him out with a fastball in the first inning. Luke retired 6 of the first 7 tonight, 4 by way of the strikeout. Kelly gets around on it but pulls it foul. Luke has made 2 starts against the Tigers this year. Mentioned the one on April the 7th. Royals won that game 3-2. And then on April the 12th, Luke gave up 4 runs in just 5 innings. But they gave him great run support, the Royals did, and they won 10-5. He strikes out Kelly again, and that's 5 for Luke in 3 1/3 innings.
He really mixed it up really well, and this ball is right where Jason Kendall wanted, right on the outside corner. And he threw him a curveball for a strike, and so he's got a good mix going right now. And Jeff Montgomery, between innings off camera, asked him when would you go away from a pitch, and he would say, "Well, my catcher, if I don't feel comfortable in it, if my catcher has confidence in it, then that'll give me confidence to rethrow it."
Two and 0 to Damon, grounded back to Hochevar in the first inning. Broke his bat, and it's 2-1. And while Johnny gets another bat, we'll remind you that tomorrow the first 8,000 fans aged 14 and under will receive a Build-A-Bear polar bear, brought to you by the Kansas City Zoo. And then after the Royals take on the Tigers at 1:10, it's the 6th annual Faith and Family Celebration with a special concert after the game from Jeremy Camp. Brian Bannister and Jeremy Bonderman will pitch tomorrow afternoon. 3 balls and 1 strike on Damon. Full count. Might have been ball 4, but Luke will get another shot at him. Johnny the DH. So he gets half the game off. Maglio Ordonez is not in the lineup at all. Tigers have had their problems recently scoring runs. In their last 10 games, 8 times they've scored 4 runs or less. So Jim Leland, a combination, I'm sure, of shaking things up and just giving a few guys the night off.
Well, you look at the bottom 3, that's where no matter which combination he goes with, the bottom 3 is where his offense is stalling.
Hard slider gets Johnny Damon, so make it 6 strikeouts for Hochevar.
Well, he's done an outstanding job of just mixing his pitches up, Ryan, with the slider, the curveball, and the split finger, and then it's making his fastball that much better.
Luke's season high for strikeouts is 7. And he's done that on 3 occasions, including on Monday against the Angels, and he's already up to 6 in less than 4 innings. He struck out Cabrera with that slider back in the 2nd inning. So Cabrera's first 2 plate appearances tonight come with nobody on base. Left that pitch up off speed, and Cabrera couldn't get it. 0-2.
One thing Cabrera hasn't done in his at-bats to this point is that balls like that, he didn't pull off those pitches. He would take those pitches and go the other way. But right now, I think Luke seems to have him off balance a little bit, where he's not recognizing the changeup, and you don't normally just wait and hit that ball the other way.
Luke kicks it to Betancourt. When it's working, it's working. You describe this one.
Well, folks are just going to have to see it. I don't know. I think he was trying to get out of the way, actually. The ball hit off the back of his right heel and went right to Yulieski Betancourt. Yeah, he's just really fortunate it didn't hit him in the ankle.
Well, that could be one of those plays where the adrenaline gets you through that actual play, but now he's going to go sit down, and if the Royals have a good inning on offense, you hope that the back of the ankle, the Achilles tendon there, doesn't tighten up.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of padding in those shoes on the heel area, and that wasn't a softly hit ball.
Doesn't appear to be bothered by it now as he watches Jason Kendall, who lined to center his first time up. And that is a fair ball. Very awkward throw by Inge, and it draws Cabrera off the bag. It's an infield single for Kendall.
I think if Brandon Edge had it all, do it all over again, he realizes Kendall that's running, so there's really no reason to try to turn this ball like a double play. You could have gotten back on top and made a better throw right there. Right here he plants, but never gives himself a chance to get his balance back to make a good throw to first.
So the Royals' first hit, second base runner. And David DeJesus bats with a hole on the right side with Cabrera holding Kendall. And David hit a shot up the first base line in the first inning, but Miguel Cabrera diving across the line to take a hit away from it. And that's about the best you can do right now against DeJesus. Ever since David Jr. was born back on May the 25th, David is hitting right around 470. And his batting average has gone from about 265 to 303. Talk about the top three hitters last night. Scott Pasednik, 1 RBI, 3 runs scored. Jason Kendall, 3 RBIs, and then David DeJesus drove in 2 runs. So the Royals scored 7. Kendall driving in 3, DeJesus 2 of those 7. No balls, 2 strikes. Let's revisit our You Call It, presented by Sprint. And we asked you who is more valuable to their rotation this year. And a 52-48 margin, Hochevar to the Royals over Verlander to the Tigers. So very close. Keep texting at 432-432. Enter keyword Royals, followed by a space. A for Hochevar, B for Verlander. And Verlander is convinced that the Royals have something in mind that would include Jason Kendall running from first. Not running, and the curveball just misses away, 1-2. Remember, if you participate in tonight's You Call It, Sprint is going to bounce you back with a text message, which will give you instructions on how you can register to win a suite here at Kauffman Stadium. Sit in the Sprint suite right above us. The 3rd winner of the year will be here tomorrow. 6 more opportunities. You can also go to the website, sprint.com/sponsorships/sports. And that curveball does make it into the strike zone. Verlander strikes out his first.
You can see David gives up on his curveball because you really don't expect him to throw it right here. You're looking for something a little bit harder. And David gave up on it a little early and caught the outside part of the plate.
Philly flied to center field in the 2nd inning. Verlander trying to keep Kendall close, and now a balk. And I think that was called by the home plate umpire, Kerwin Danley. Verlander kind of looking in as if to say, what did I do?
Well, it's like that jump turn we talked about, and you know they say that you want to give a good step, but that was really not a good turn. It's almost like he just didn't get his body turned enough toward first base in order to make that throw.
It also has something to do with the breaking of the hands. I think the pitcher needs to disengage from the rubber with his feet before he can break his throwing hand from his glove hand, and I think the break of the hands came before the feet shifted.
I think that's probably true, and if you look at his body, you know, he just looked like he just didn't get that shoulder completely turned to first base. There we go. He started up.
There are a few things that didn't look right with that move. Take your pick.
Wow. It's a move that you didn't think he would make, you know. He's been pitching a long time, and you know a lot of pitchers like to throw to first base on the way up, but that was just a lot of odd movement going on there.
Look at that knee buckler. Billy Butler was pulling away, thinking he might be hit, and the final result is a strike.
I think Kerwin Danley, he talked to Paul, and Paul threw a lot of curveballs, and he said that umpires today have trouble calling the curveball because you don't see many guys that throw the curveball. And that curveball there stayed inside, and Billy could see it, but it's close enough. And the umpire's sitting on the inside part of the plate, and it's going to look a lot better to him.
He's back with a fastball at 98. Kendall reaches with an infield single. David DeJesus strikes out, but the Royals get a break on the balk from Verlander. To Inge. So he looks back Kendall, and there are 2 down. Don't forget to mark your calendar and get your tickets now for the first ever free hot dog night at Kauffman Stadium, presented by Farmland. On Wednesday, June the 16th, every fan will receive 1 free hot dog when the Royals take on the Astros at 7:10. So dinner is on the Royals. You can get your tickets at Royals.com or by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS. And now an opportunity for Jose Guillen, fouled out to first in the second inning, and now just 3 for his last 26. And a base hit here could put the Royals in front. Tonight, looking like he's forcing himself to be more patient and seeing some pitches instead of digging in and hacking at the same time. Really trying to get a good long look at Verlander before he unloads on a swing. And he grounds back to Verlander. It makes a nice play, and that's the inning. So no score at Kauffman Stadium at the end of 4. To have their hands full with Justin Verlander, but the Tigers have their hands full tonight with Luke Hochevar.
Well, Ryan, what you got is you got the Royals workhorse going against their workhorse, and you get in that kind of game. You know, Luke's only giving up 2 hits, Verlander 1, and this game is moving at a fast pace right now.
Well, now 66% to 34%. I think that Luke Hochevar is more valuable to the Royals rotation this year as opposed to Justin Verlander to the Tigers. Brennan Bosch singled in the second inning. Luke has allowed 2 hits, both singles. He has struck out 6, so he's 1 away from tying his season high. And we're only in the 5th inning. 1-1. "25 RBIs for Bosch. That leads all American League rookies. And what is remarkable about that is that he didn't get his first hit until April the 23rd. He started the year in the minor leagues. Better than any other American League rookie. Now over the National League, he has a ways to go. Jason Hayward is having a great year for the Braves. He has 38 driven in. And we'll see Jason Hayward and the Braves. A couple of road trips down the line. Interleague play. See the Braves and the Nationals. Apparently Justin Smoke has more home runs than Brendan Bosch among American League rookies. And Luke Hochevar gives up his first walk. So 1 walk to go with 6 strikeouts. Bob McClure said something interesting the other day. I asked him, and I didn't know the answer. I never heard anyone refer to this, but generally speaking, how many starts for a guy in the big leagues where you have a pretty good idea of what you have? And Max said right around 50. That's up the middle and into center field. So Guillen is 1 out of 2, and the Tigers have 2 on with nobody out. Now he said, of course, it can be different for every guy, but generally speaking, after 50, you have a pretty good idea of what the guy's going to give you as far as stuff goes. Now, beyond 50, a guy can change his mentality. He can change his attitude. But as far as stuff goes, right around 50, you should have a pretty good idea. And Luke Hochevar is making his 59th Major League start tonight. Brandon Inge struck out his first time, and Luke throws a slider in for a strike.
I think you can see right now, Ryan, in Luke, what you can see him sort of settling down. You can see him being a little bit more composed. He's got a good rhythm, and you can see he's mixing his pitches well, and he's starting to get that command of all of his pitches on a regular basis.
1 ball, 1 strike.
I think probably composure comes with a lot of that. Your mound presence, when the game speeds up, do you have the ability to slow it down in your mind and shut down the big innings? And that's where he's gotten better.
And Luke falls into the category that Bob McClure was talking about. I mean, I don't think Luke's stuff is going to change much or has changed much this year. But his mentality can change, and that approach that he's trying to take this year, that in situations like this, 2 on, nobody out, is he going to pitch smarter, or is he going to do what he's done in the past, and that is pitch harder? And Luke has done an excellent job this year, and specifically since Ned Yost took over, to just really slowing things down. Most guys, you want him to speed things up, but in Luke's case, it's all right for him to catch his breath, take a little bit longer.
Well, when they started to sense situations like this in the past, in this situation, Bob McClure would make a trip to the mound. So he's getting a lot more confidence in Luke coming out of these situations. That you go out there a few times and all of a sudden you say, okay, you're on your own, I'm not coming out there. And, Luke responds right here. And when hitters chase pitches like that, that's a result of you being able to get all of your pitches over, and they just want to see a fastball. And you finally see one, and you chase it. And Brandon Inge is a fastball hitter.
So 7 strikeouts, and that ties a season high. The 4th time he's done that this year. Now Alex Avila. Single to center field first time up.
We'll take a look at this one here, Ryan, and I think Luke would take that pitch every time. And Corey and Danley kind of looked it off like it was inside.
Well, he gets that call. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's not just the hits that appeared to shake up Luke in the past, but it was something like that. Not getting a call and reacting by throwing harder as opposed to smarter. Didn't get the call this time, but comes back with a strike and just misses inside with a slider.
I wonder if Jason's saying something about those 2 pitches. Well, he's just starting to throw this slider, so you might want to stay with it a little bit longer.
3-1. Alex Avila just a couple of years ago was a 5th-round pick for the Tigers. So not the type of guy that you would figure would get rushed to the big leagues, but the very next year, that's where he was. Now we're back up to Gerald Laird, who started last night. And he takes a walk. So Luke didn't walk anyone in the first 4 innings. And now he's walked 2 in this inning, and they're loaded up. Replay returns with an all-new season. After 11 years, Gatorade reunites 2 high school rivals looking to finally settle the score. Don't miss the documentary premiere, June the 20th at 9 p.m. Check your local listings. Well, if you're going to load the bases, you want to be down around the bottom of the order, and Ramon Santiago, the number 9 hitter, steps in. Luke got him to ground into a double play in the 3rd inning. Swung at a bad pitch, 0-1. Santiago is 0 for his last 9. And while he doesn't hit for a lot of power, he has just 1 home run this year. He does have a home run in his career against Hochevar. No balls, 2 strikes. So far, the little meeting with Kendall is paying off.
That starts off with a nice slider and then a fastball on the outside corner. Now Luke's ahead of the game. This is where you got to pitch smart right here, Ryan. 0-2.
Him out on 3 pitches. And now Luke has a new season high with 8.
Not the 0-2 pitch I expected, Ryan. I tell you, he comes up with a nice changeup that goes down and away, and Santiago just didn't have a chance on this ball. I mean, he's probably looking for a fastball, a waste pitch, and they come up with a pretty good pitch right there.
So Kendall getting Hochevar back on track, and now has to get through Austin Jackson. And the slider is in there for strike 1. So the outfield has done a lot of standing around tonight. Only 2 fly balls in 4 2/3 innings. Well, you can't argue with what Luke's doing, holding the Tigers scoreless for 4 2/3 with 8 strikeouts. But on a hot night, that's a lot of standing around, not just for the outfield, but also the infield. Hope that they're staying on their toes through all of this. As Jackson hits it over the mound behind second, Aviles throws back to Butler in time, and the Tigers leave the bases loaded. So Kendall had some magic words for Hochevar, and he gets through it.
an outstanding play right here. He didn't have a play at second base, so he comes back across the field and get a fast run in Austin Jackson.
So Austin Jackson is 0 for 8 in the series.
Billy did a good job hanging on this pitch with his right foot. First base coach Tom Brookins didn't think he was on the bag, but taking a look at it there, he did a good job sliding his foot across the bag.
And I'm sure the Tigers are tired about talking about feet sliding across the bag. Alberto Callaspo on base with a walk in the second inning. You know, after the game last night, there was a lot of talk about Max Scherzer just didn't pitch his A game. He was coming off of 14 strikeouts, and he struck out 3 in 5 innings. But you have to give some credit to the Royals, not allowing him to be a strikeout pitcher. Callaspo is just the second strikeout victim of Verlander. So Verlander strikes out more than 2 every 4 1/3 innings. Tonight's trivia question brought to you by AT&T. Who are the only 2 Royals to lead the league in fielding percentage at third base? Right now, Alberto Callaspo is leading the American League at third base. Well, I'm not going to make this mistake twice, so I'll throw Kevin Seitzer out there.
Well, you also have Joe Randa to think about, and George Brett to think about.
How about Gary Gaetti? A pretty good fielding third baseman.
Yes, he was.
Wasn't here for very long, but that's going to get through the right side. Mike Aviles is 1 for 2.
This is one of Verlander's better fastballs, 97. Mike just doesn't try to pull it. He just goes that way, and there's a big hole over there for him and does a good job staying on that pitch. Just kept his weight back on his backside, and I just think Mike's an upper body swinger. I mean, because he loses a lot of his lower half when he steps in the bucket, and what he does, he keeps the upper half back, and then that's what allows him to take that ball out over the plate and drive it to right field.
Just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike to Meyer. Grounded out to first in the third inning. You know, in regard to the strikeouts, if the Royals stay on this pace, they will strike out 221 fewer times than last year. So they have really cut that number down. So it's not just about Max Scherzer having an off game or Justin Verlander the same. The Royals have really adjusted their style. They're going to get a big break here. Not sure if it would have been a double play, but certainly an out at second base. Instead, everyone's safe. 2 on, 1 out.
Well, just a case of trying to do too much right here on Santiago's part. Again, makes a good play and going to his left. But here, where Santiago tried to be too quick, and like you say, Ryan, with Meyer running, he probably didn't have a chance at the double play. So make sure you get that 1 out. But see, his head was down, didn't follow the ball up in his glove. Now take a look at his head here. You can see where it goes down. That's a little too quick for me right there. But if you know, when you drop your head and the ball's over your head, then it's going to be hard to put the ball in your glove where you want it.
And now Betancourt swings at the first pitch. He's got to wait for a better pitch than that with 2 on and 1 out. Little dribbler to the left side, so second and third, 1 out. Betancourt is 0 for 2.
Well, that's where the patience comes in. You have some guys that if there's nobody on base, they show all the patience in the world, but you get men in scoring position, they're almost afraid to get behind in the count. They're afraid to get their pitch. And on the first two pitches, you want to be your pitch. If it's not your pitch, you got to let it go.
Fastball with some life at the end at 98, 0-1 to Posednik. He is 0 for 2. That error, by the way, is the 44th committed by the Tigers. That's the most in the American League. The Tigers, however, feel like that's not a reflection of the quality of their defense. And they haven't had many errors come back and hurt them. And this one won't. So Posednik is out, and the Royals lead 2 in scoring position. Why 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy. No score to the 6th inning. Luke Hochevar already has a new season high with 8 strikeouts. The biggest threat the Tigers have had so far. They had the bases loaded with 2 down in the 5th inning. Luke got out of it. And then in the bottom of the 5th inning, the Royals had their biggest threat, and thanks to an error, runners at second and third with 2 down. But Verlander was able to get out of that one. Two balls and 1 strike. Don Kelly has struck out swinging. He has struck out looking. Johnny Damon after him. And then Miguel Cabrera. And Luke's going to want to throw a strike here. He's already walked 2. And making sure there is nobody on base when Cabrera comes up. Well, Kelly was on his way to first base, but it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hit hard to center, and Meyer comes up for it. 1 away. Well, come on out to Kauffman Stadium on Tuesday, June the 15th. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Royals t-shirt presented by Sprint. It's the 3rd of 7 t-shirt Tuesdays throughout the season. So get your tickets now and collect all 7. For tickets, you can go to Royals.com right now or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Ball 1 on Johnny Damon. Hey, it's Joel Goldberg. It's always nice when Joel stops by. He's got his own suite over to our right, but every now and then he'll come over and say hello.
Look at this T-shirt. I'll show you here in a second. A lot of the K crew, the grounds crew, they're wearing this Vote Billy T-shirt. I think they're trying to get Billy some all-star votes. And Billy was at the team store today signing autographs, and I think that they're selling these at a discounted $16 price. Billy's number 16. Vote Billy.
Damon's bat explodes, and David DeJesus runs down the fly ball. Damon is 0 for 3. Now,
that's all I got, really.
Okay. That's a baseball flying through the O in Vote Billy, which has to do with, I guess, the way the ball's been flying off of his bat this year.
Right, like it's flying through an O. Makes sense?
Right, yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll leave the comedy to the guys last night.
Thanks, Joel.
There you go.
And notice you have your windows closed over there.
Well, feels pretty good in there.
Joe doesn't like heat.
No. Frank and I will argue about that on the road. Waiting for a cab. Frank's standing outside in the heat, and I'm standing inside in the air conditioning.
And let me tell you, too, there is nothing more captivating than to listen to Frank and Joel debate weather.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it going to be tomorrow, Frank?
It's going to be warm. You just tell me what shirt to wear. I'll just throw it on. I'll be here.
Ryan, your thoughts? I'm getting out of here. Carry on.
Thank you, Joel.
All right.
2-1 on Miguel Cabrera, 0 for 2. Lost a base hit, perhaps, on a ground ball in the 4th inning that deflected off of Luke Hochevar's ankle right to Unievsky Betancourt. Drilled to left field deep. Posednik all the way back, and the Tigers take a 1-0 lead as Cabrera stings the Royals again.
Ryan, you said it best. Don't put anybody on base in front of this guy because you never know. When he gets his pitch, he can really turn on. Luke left the fastball out over the plate, and he got all of this pitch. I mean, such a dangerous hitter. You just never know when he's going to strike.
Oh, that ended up being a pretty good comeback for Luke against Don Kelly. He was on the edge of walking Kelly, so that could have been a 2-run home run. No balls, 2 strikes on Brennan Bosch, a single and a walk. So Luke has given up 3 home runs in his last 2 starts after giving up 2 home runs in his first 9. It's not going to make Luke feel any better, but he hopes to go to the dugout for the middle of the 6th inning, down just 1-0. The solo home runs, unless it's the 9th inning, don't usually come back and hurt you. Still 1-2 on Bosch. .42 hits and 122 at bats. .344. Luke comes back with a strikeout, his 9th, but the Tigers take the lead on the Cabrera home run. and community and school programs. The museum is the only permanent building remaining from the 1904 World's Fair. A warm, muggy night in Kansas City. Not as warm now with the sun going down. 1-0 Tigers on Miguel Cabrera's 17th home run of the year, so he only trails former Royal Jose Bautista. Remember him? He has 18 home runs for the Blue Jays. He wasn't here very long, Jose Bautista. Jason Kendall lined to center. That was in the first inning, and on base with an infield single in the fourth. Royals with just 2 hits against Verlander in the first 5 innings. He has walked 1 and only struck out 2. And now that's driven to right field. Bosch is back and makes the play. Back to our AT&T trivia question. Who are the only 2 Royals to lead the league in fielding percentage at third base? I'm going to go with Kevin Seitzer as one of them. How about you?
I'm going to go with Joe Randa as one.
Gary Gaetti. I should have stayed with Gary Gaetti.
You mentioned it.
Dang it. Randa in 03, Gaetti in 94. I remember Joe, of course, being a very good defensive third baseman. I don't remember, however, him leading the league in fielding percentage. Doesn't surprise me, but I don't remember that being a bullet point looking back on that year.
Well, 94, they had a good team here in Kansas City, and they had won like 14 in a row, and then you had to strike, and so that could have hurt. That could have helped in the fielding percentage too.
Ball, 2 strikes. David caught looking at a curveball for a strikeout in the 4th inning, and then lost a hit on the defensive play of the game so far in the first. A bullet up the first base line that Miguel Cabrera went diving for, and that was the final out of the first inning. That curveball hangs high, 2-2. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Justin Verlander, when you watch him pitch, Ryan, you can just see the intensity on his face. And, you know, he's one of those guys, he knows he's got good stuff, but you still have to make good pitches. And when his fastball is on, everything he seems to follow. His changeup, his slider, and that's a new pitch one that he's thrown a little bit more this year than in the past, but mainly been fastball, changeup.
As if the fastball, the knuckle curve, and the change weren't enough to worry about.
And that curve really snaps hard when he throws it in there.
Look out. That goes into the dugout. And Jesus strikes out on a fastball at 99.
I think Dave might have to put a wrist strap.
Well, it's a special Top Gun edition of Ink College Night at 7:10 on Thursday, June the 17th. Not only will all high school and college students get select tickets for just $7, plus food and beverage specials in the outfield plaza, but it's Top Gun night, so wear your aviator and bomber jackets, because we're going to have a special costume contest and a chance to win great prizes. Again, that's June the 17th. Hope it's a cool night. I remember when I was early in high school is when Top Gun came out, and those aviator-style sunglasses were so popular. Everyone wanted to join the Navy. Somebody's bobblehead somehow ended up on the field. But anyway, now it seems like those glasses are back in style again.
Yeah, they're pretty cool glasses. You know, Tom Cruise made them look real good. you see yourself with those aviator glasses on and your bomber jacket on in July?
Not me. They want high school and college students to do that. That's the second time that, as they say, Verlander jelly-legged Billy Butler with a curveball. A little late on the fastball, still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just this at-bat with Billy Butler, Verlander's been anywhere from 78 miles an hour to 100. That's intimidating up here in the booth. Hold to third again. This one gets past Inge. Down into the corner. John Kelly waits for it. And Butler is into second base with a double.
But it really hit this ball real good, right? Hit over the top of it, but just got it right inside the line. Got down that corner and made that double real easy. You see how that's when you see how it comes over that ball and just really pull it in a good spot down the line. And you see Billy hustles into second base.
Organ music. Billy Butler is safe at second base. Safe and secure. New York life. Butler watching a foul ball off the bat of Jose Guillen, as Verlander comes after him with a fastball at 100. Jose fouled out in the first inning, grounded out in the fourth, and that came with a runner at second base and 2 outs, and now he bats again with a runner at second base, 2 outs, in a 1-0 game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, triple digits for Verlander. And I remember when he threw his first major league shutout here back in 2006. In the 9th inning, he was still throwing 98. Curveball stays inside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
And when you're struggling, you always have to say, when you're facing guys that throw good like Verlander, you're struggling to get base hits, and you wake up in the morning, you see who's throwing, and you know the night before who's throwing, you say, man, it just doesn't get any easier. You always look for that soft toss and left-hander to kind of get you back on track, but you know he's not going to find any in this series.
Almost hit him again with a curve. 3 balls and 1 strike. Tigers just took the lead in the top of the 6th inning on Cabrera's home run. He's the Tigers' big money man, and now the Royals' big money man at the plate with Butler at second, and the count goes to 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. .101. And Guillen makes contact, still 3-2.
Well, hitters can speed up, Ryan. They can really, he can throw it 105 if it's in the right zone. They can speed up to hit it. It's just being able to slow down after you see a pitch that fast. That's what's hard for hitters to do.
So he has got stronger as the game has gone along. And Guillen takes a walk.
For him to come back and lay off this pitch right here after that, now that's a good at bat for Jose Guillen. And Verlander's a little upset because it pitch backed up on him. It didn't keep coming across the plate. It's backed up inside. then when you do that little move there, it's like you're praying for a little bit of help from the umpire.
23 pitch inning for Verlander, and the only inning he's had so far tonight where he's gone more than 20. In fact, in the first 2 innings combined, he was just at 23 and then 7 in the third. And with Callaspo coming up, this might be pitching coach Rick Knapp's way of allowing Verlander to catch his breath on a hot night. Probably feels more like 23 pitches this inning. Talk a little bit about what they want to do with Alberto Callaspo.
Well, Justin Verlander's like a lot of starters. If you get them early, you got a chance. That first time through, 278, and the third time through, it dropped to 240.
Curveball is a little bit low. Alberto walked in the second inning. Verlander struck him out in the fifth. Alberto has 18 career home runs, 5 against the Tigers, including his first major league home run last year against Rick Porcello. Back with the curveball, and again it misses, and the count is 2-0.
Well, we take a look at both these pitches here from Verlander. You see the first pitch was right at the knees, and Verlander had a right to want that one, but this one's off the plate.
Changeup on 2-0.
That takes guts.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, look at the run on that changeup. It ran right off the plate.
Yeah. Almost ran off the screen. And Callaspo, realizing that that pitch was called a strike, figures he needs to swing at it, but very late. As one pitch is 87, the next one is 100. You really can't sit on just one pitch for Verlander, or you'll end up sitting on the bench.
That's for sure.
Right to Guillen at second base. So the Royals strand 2 again, and they've left 4 on base in the last 2 innings. Carlos Guillen leads off in the 7th inning. And the only mistake so far for Luke Hochevar, at least one that's come back to hurt him, Miguel Cabrera's home run with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Guillen is 1 for 2, but his out was a line out to center field, and Mitch Meyer running it down. And he goes up the middle again. Mike Aviles to first in time. Second great play tonight for Aviles.
There's no doubt about Mike's arm strength now. When you make this play here, Ryan, you got to have a strong arm, and he does a good job of getting that right foot down and getting that body turned. Watch the right foot hit, and then he turns, and that's how you make that play right there. I mean, this is an outstanding play.
And now one strike to Brandon Inge, who has struck out twice against Luke. Both times swinging. Luke with 9 tonight. That's a season high. Trying to go at least 7 innings in his 4th consecutive start. 0-2. Three strikeouts for Brandon Inge and 10 in the game for Hochevar. Take a look at tonight's game summary brought to you by Verizon Wireless. 1-0 Tigers at the top of the 7th inning. And we knew it was going to be a pitching duel tonight. Verlander and Hochevar, and that's exactly what it's been. 13 combined strikeouts, 10 of those for Hochevar, and this mistake hurt him. Off speed and the strike to Alex Avila. Singled in the 3rd inning, walked in the 5th. That was Miguel Cabrera's 17th home run of the year. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Cabrera's 3rd this season against the Royals. One and two. Luke is right at 100 pitches. I'm sure it feels like more than that with the heat.
I think it's the heat plus the matchup. You know, you got a guy on the other side matching you pitch for pitch, and he's got the reputation. You're trying to get the reputation, and you're staying right in the game, and you got that pressure of not knowing you can't make too many mistakes in a game like this. You got to pitch almost perfect.
Just barely got a piece. There has been no gray area for Luke Hochevar against the Tigers. He is either very good or the opposite. 5 career starts before tonight. Twice he has allowed no runs. In the other 3, he's given up 5 or more runs. And now 1 strikeout away from allowing just 1 run in 7 innings. And he's going to have to wait another batter. Vila singles with 2 outs to center field, his 2nd hit. And he's been on base all 3 times. Day game tomorrow with Brian Bannister going against Jeremy Bonderman. Ivy Royals live at 12:30. First pitch is 1:10. Royals then have Monday off and will go on the road to Minnesota and Cincinnati. Santiago slices it over Callaspo. Santiago coming up with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 5th inning, but Luke struck him out. So he gets the hit now, but the Tigers needed that hit in the 5th inning.
They definitely did, and I tell you, it's a lot easier to hit with nobody on base. And I think guys have trouble because they take that pressure and put it on themselves, and rather than wait for their pitch and be aggressive on their pitch, they get too excited, too anxious. Blake
Wood warming up. Royals hoping that Hochevar will get the game to the 8th, and that Blake won't have to get the final out of the 7th inning. Bob McClure out to visit with Luke. So Jackson coming up with 2 on, 2 out. He batted with the bases loaded and 2 out in the 5th inning and lost a hit and a couple of RBIs on this play.
I think Jackson just gave Mike Aviles a little preview of what he had to come on his second try on this play. This play here, he had a little bit, he was under control a little bit better on this play than he was on the previous play. Yeah, Mike's got to feel pretty good about those 2 plays tonight.
So Austin Jackson with 2 on. Jackson opened the series 5th in the league in hitting, but he is 0 for 8 in the first 2 games with 3 strikeouts. Just missed outside. He is among the league leaders in hits. He's 3rd. And in strikeouts. And right now leads the league with 61 of those. Takes it for a strike, 1-1. Jackson had been 4 out of 6 against Hochevar before tonight. But Luke has struck him out, got him on a fly out to right, and then on that play by Aviles. On the corner, 1-2.
Jackson's somewhat frustrated by what's going on when you're not swinging good. You can't get comfortable, and you got a pitcher who's really pounding his own with the fastball, and actually got away with one of them.
And now Luke and Kendall are going to talk over this 1-2 pitch. Now Luke has responded to the Ned Yost challenge from 4 starts ago. Challenge Luke to give him more innings, pitch deeper in the game, get himself out of situations late in the game. And once again, he is 1 strike away from giving the Royals at least 7 innings in 4 consecutive starts. Jackson thought about it, and that's not even close to a strike. 2-2.
Yeah, Jason Kendall did an excellent job blocking his hard slider in the dirt.
Avila at second base, Santiago at first. That pitch was up in the zone, but it's popped up. And Kendall right at home plate. And the Tigers lead 2 more in the 7th inning. down 1-0 to the bottom of the 7th inning. Panera shows us scores from around the American League. Toronto beats New York in 14 innings. It was the Angels over Seattle. All of a sudden the Angels are hot. They've won 4 in a row. Texas over Tampa Bay. Texas leading the West. Tampa Bay leading the East. Cleveland in front of Chicago. Boston leading Baltimore. Baltimore's lost 9 in a row. And they are already 25 games below 500. And then Minnesota is later tonight. Minnesota with a 3.5 game lead over the Tigers. And the Royals making their deficit 3.5 after beating them last night 7-3.
Well, that Baltimore franchise has really turned around. I mean, they've come on some hard times. That used to be one of the storied franchises in terms of competing with the Yankees and the Red Sox. And you think back to some of the great players they've had play there.
Up the middle, Santiago cuts it off. And Avila's out by a step. 1 for 3 tonight. So 3 hits for the Royals in 6 1/3 against Justin Verlander, who is already 9-2 in his career against the Royals. He has thrown fewer than 90 pitches. And ball 1 to Mitch Meyer. Verlander losing his last 2 starts. Prior to that, he had won 4 in a row. Easier play right at Santiago. 2 down. Tomorrow on Hy-Vee Royals Live, we're going to sit down with outfield and first base coach Rusty Kuntz. Rusty relives memories of his time with the young Ken Griffey Jr. So tune in at 12:30 for that story and more on Hy-Vee Royals Live. Hi, Patrick. Nice shirt. See that shirt? Betancourt is popped to short, grounded out to third. Two balls, no strikes. Royals had 1 base runner in the first 3 innings, and that was a walk. Didn't get their first hit until the 4th, and that was an infield single. Royals stranded 2, both in scoring position in the 5th, and stranded 2 more in the 6th. It's not been a big strikeout game for Verlander. He has punched out 3. He was 7th in the American League in strikeouts. 67 in 72 innings, but tonight 3 in 6 2/3. 3-0. Four-pitch walk. So the 3rd walk to go with his 3 strikeouts.
Verlander's been fairly sharp tonight, Ryan, but here against Betancourt, you can see how far off the plate he's missed with these pitches. And actually, the one he walked on was a pretty good pitch, but like I say, when you got the umpire all over the place, it's kind of hard to get that pitch. But it might be a sign that maybe he's fatiguing just a little bit.
Yeah, he's at 94 pitches, but again, you factor in the heat. And if this was July or August, you'd say, well, it's just another hot day. But these guys are just now getting used to the heat again. We haven't had many days like this. So if he has a chance for a shutout at 95 pitches with 2 outs in the 7th inning, he's going to have to get pretty efficient. Verlander threw his first Major League shutout here at Kauffman Stadium in 06. Almost picked off Betancourt. And in that same 2006 season, Verlander was the American League Rookie of the Year. And the Tigers advanced to the World Series, losing to the Cardinals. The next year, Verlander threw a no-hitter against the Brewers. One and one on Pasednik, 0 for 3. One of those outs was a line drive to center field. Verlander aware of the situation. You have a leadoff man at the plate who doesn't hit for a lot of power. So the odds are if Pasednik is going to drive in Betancourt, it's going to be with a single. So will the Royals steal Betancourt if he's out? Pasednik just leads off the next inning. That ball carried. Pasednik, I think at home run distance, it almost straightened out in that Bermuda triangle that is the left field corner.
Well, even in this situation with Pasednik being a singles hitter primarily, the outfielders really do have to be careful here. They are in close, but just like in David against the Angels, Torrey Hunter came in and there was a line drive got over his head, so he can't split those guys with the right type of hit, and then he could end up on third and a run would be in.
Not running, and a curveball hits the outside corner. 4 strikeouts for Verlander and 7 scoreless innings. Giving up 1 run in 7 innings, but the Royals haven't had an answer yet for Justin Verlander in their 7 innings. So our Chevy call to the bullpen, it's Blake Wood. They'll get Don Kelly, Johnny Damon, and Miguel Cabrera, and the Tigers seeing him for the first time. So Blake Wood pitching in his 12th game. And all he has given up is 2 earned runs in 11 2/3 innings. Only 2 walks. The Tigers will send up Don Kelly, Johnny Damon, and Miguel Cabrera. This is the 3rd time that Kelly, who is the number 2 hitter, has led off an inning. And he lines it to left. Pasednik is right there. So 1 pitch, 1 away.
Blake Wood likes to keep the ball down, Ryan. A lot of good run to his pitch, and they're doing a good job making this fastball sink down and away, and Kelly couldn't square it up, and he just sliced it into left field.
Strike to Johnny Damon. He's glad to see Hochevar out. Johnny 0 for 3 against Luke, and now 1 out of 13 in his career against Hochevar. One and one. Last night the Royals used Kyle Farnsworth, Robinson Tejeda, and Kanakoa Teixeira to preserve the victory for Bruce Chen, who went 5. And the Royals bullpen allowed just 1 run in 4 innings. Just a little low. And as Ned Yost says, 96 with some teeth.
You can see that ball sink. I mean, that's a true sinker right there from Blake Wood.
How about Johnny's gloves? Those are some flashy looking gloves.
Well, you know, Johnny's kind of a style master.
Look at that.
You have to line your knuckles up.
Left center, Posednik again. 2 down in the 8th inning. Yesterday, Dayton Moore met with the media, preview of the draft, and we were talking about Blake Wood and how much his success at the major league level trickles down to the rest of the minor league system. That they see now a guy drafted by the Royals, developed by the Royals, not only gets a chance to come to the big leagues, but when he gets to the big leagues, he's playing very well. And how that can lift the spirits of not only guys in AAA, but AA down the line, also lifts the spirits of the scouts, the coaches, the managers, you name it.
You're right. It's all about development down there, and everybody takes a small part in it, and everybody that comes into the system, from rookie ball to short season aid all the way up. Everybody touches these guys, and the development plan that's put out there by the minor league farm system, farm director, then that really helps everybody who has something to do with that. So all the players in that system, you know, they really like the fact that their development system is working. So their job is to give each guy every day something in their development plan, and I think that's where all that confidence comes from when they get to this level.
2 hits for Cabrera. His first hit back in the 6th inning is our Chevrolet play of the game.
Well, this is a fastball that Luke left out over the plate, and he knows only a matter of time with him. If he can look like he doesn't know what he's doing, but you make a mistake out over the plate, and he's right there waiting on you.
And now rookie against rookie. And a couple of guys who were called up late after spending some time in the minor leagues, but you can't tell by the numbers. Brendan Bosch is driven in 25, didn't get his first hit until the end of April. Blake Wood has become the Royals setup man for Joakim Soria, and he didn't join the Royals until the middle of May. So a couple of young guys who have been able to shake off the nerves of playing at the highest level in the world and now have prominent roles. That gets away from Kendall, so Cabrera moves up to second base, and that is a wild pitch.
We go back to the minor league system again and to the draft again, Ryan. When you talk to Dayton Moore and a lot of the scouts, and they want to find guys like Blake Wood. They want to find guys that got that mental toughness, that they know they can get through this, get to this level, deal with the ups and downs, and be successful. And Blake Wood is one of those guys at this point that sort of fits what they're trying, the type of players that they're going out to look for.
Blake Wood, the Royals' 3rd round pick in 2006. at Georgia Tech. This one is blocked by Jason Kendall, and it's 3-1 on Bosch. And there is an open base. We've seen what Brendan Bosch can do. Carlos Guillen is on deck. Three balls, two strikes. Lakewood retired Don Kelly and Johnny Damon on fly balls to left field. Cabrera singled, went to second on a wild pitch. And now a walk. So 2 on for Guillen.
Well, that's probably a good walk right there with Guillen coming up. You know, Bosch can leave the ballpark, and even though Guillen has that capability, the chances of Bosch doing it before he does it are pretty strong. You don't want to lay a fastball in there and just let him tee off on it.
So he gets a fresh count with Carlos Guillen, who is 1 for 3. He could easily be 3 for 3. Lost a base hit in the second inning on a nice running play by Mitch Meyer in right center field. And a base hit in the 7th on a play behind the bag by Mike Aviles. And drilled to center field again. Long run for Meyer. He won't get there, and it's up against the wall. So Guillen drives in 2, and now Verlander and the Tigers have a 3-0 lead.
Well, Carlos Guillen decided to go out there again. This was 97 moving away. He gets it right on the flat part of the bat. He catches, he left it up. That's the biggest thing with this pitch. And Carlos Guillen turned on it, and Mitch Meyer couldn't run this one down. You see Cabrera comes in to score, and Bosch right behind him.
And now Guillen in scoring position for Brandon Inge. Inge did cartwheels going from the on-deck circle to home plate because Luke Hochevar is on the bench. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts against Luke. Luke with a season high 10 strikeouts in 7 innings, allowing just 1 run, but he is still on the hook. And now the Royals are going to have to come up with at least 3 with their final 6 outs on offense against either Verlander or one of the best bullpens in the American League. And that's lined into right field. Guillen is going to be waved home. David DeJesus is going to play it to the infield. So with 2 outs and nobody on, the Tigers have come up with 3 and have taken a 4-0 lead.
Again, Ryan, this is another sinker that goes down and into the bat. Brandon Inge likes the ball down and in, but got inside of this one. Normally he pulls the ball and just didn't hit it well in right field. David DeJesus didn't have a chance to make a play at the plate. And Carlos Guillen comes in to score.
So Brandon Inge drives in his 25th of the year. Blake Wood looked like he was going to have an easy inning. Dusty Hughes warms up behind him. Left-hand batter coming up, and Alex Avila. So there were 2 outs and nobody on. And it looked like a harmless single from Miguel Cabrera, with 3 batters after that, and the Tigers have 3.
This is just a shot he hit back up the middle past Brandon Wood for a base hit, and that kind of got things started and it started things going downhill. But, you know, it looked like you said, Ryan, like he had it under control.
Avila with 2 singles and a walk. Aviles throws out Avila. 3 great plays tonight for Mike Aviles. Tigers come up with 3 in the top of the 8th.
Recap of Justin Verlander, Luke Hochevar, great pitchers duel between them. Highlights, interviews, analysis from Paul Splittorff, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Brian?
Okay, thank you, Joel. And now Justin Verlander with 7 shutout innings. A little more cushion now, leading 4-0. When he left the mound after the bottom of the 7th, it was 1-0. 98 pitches. The Tigers have a right-hander and a left-hander working behind him. So the first sign of trouble, and he's gone. He'll get Kendall, DeJesus, and Butler. .95 with his first fastball. Kendall is lined to the outfield twice. Also has an infield single. So a good night at the plate as far as swings go, but just 1 for 3. Royals with just 3 hits in 7 innings. Verlander has walked 3. The Tigers have committed an error. So that is just 7 base runners in the first 7 innings. Joel Zamaya is the right-hander, and Phil Coke is the lefty. Told you last night that the Tigers' team ERA is in the top 5. Right now it's 6th in the American League. But if you break it down, the rotation has really just been average. But the bullpen's ERA is the 2nd best in the major leagues. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kendall. Still a ball and 2 strikes. So Kendall giving Verlander a battle, trying to get into that bullpen. Royals have just had a tough time getting anything going. They received a gift thanks to the shortstop Ramon Santiago as he missed a throw from second baseman Carlos Guillen in the 5th inning, and the Royals had 2 runners in scoring position in the 5th, but Verlander got out of it. And now Verlander Having a tough time putting away Jason Kendall. That's a 7-pitch at bat, and Kendall has fouled away the last 5. The Royals, with 2 outs in the 6th inning, got a double from Butler, a walk from Guillen. So only twice have they had more than 1 base runner in an inning. Now, if this is a 1-0 game, the Royals are feeling a little bit better because it's just 1 mistake and you're right back in it. Or perhaps taking the lead if you have a base runner, but Royals have an uphill climb against Verlander and the bullpen with just 6 outs to go. Kendall not doing everything he can to get out of the way. He's smart enough to know that he'll take the free base, especially down in the count. And it's 2-2.
Well, he's making it hard for Verlander to get through this game, to get a complete game out of this. He's just, I think it's like a 9-pitch at bat already, and this is hard work. I mean, every time you go back out there, you got to figure out, okay, now I've thrown him everything but the kitchen sink. How can I get the ball by him? And that really works on your mind, because you want to get that first out. You want to get it out quick.
This will be the 10th pitch of the at bat. And it's hit hard into left center field. It's a long run for Jackson, and he's not going to get there. So Jason Kendall wins the battle. That's his 2nd hit of the game, and his 12th double of the year.
And Jason's got to feel really good about this at bat. He took everything that Verlander had to offer and fouled it off and waited to get a pitch up out over the plate that he could handle. And with Jackson playing over in right center field, that's a long way for him to run. And this ball falls in for a double.
Jim Leyland on the steps. He has 2 relievers ready out in the left field bullpen, but he's going to stay with Verlander at 108 pitches. And he throws a strike to David DeJesus. Verlander has thrown as many as 125 pitches this year, and 3 times he's had 120 or more pitches. His season average is 113. Then again, you have to factor in the heat, although he doesn't look like he's been working hard. That's about what he looked like in the 2nd inning.
That's for sure. He maintains velocity, that's for sure. But I think it's really important this inning right here. The Royals get something out of this inning with going into the last inning, close the gap a little bit going into the last inning. That'll make the job a lot easier.
Still running it up there at 98 miles an hour. And I mentioned earlier, I remember Verlander's first major league shutout here in 2006, and he was throwing 98 at the end of the game.
One thing you notice right here, he's getting a lot of foul balls. The fastballs, even though the velocity's there, most of these pitches are up in the zone, and the Royal hitters are having an opportunity to at least foul those pitches off.
That's lined into left field. Kendall will hold at third. 2 on and nobody out. And Jim Leyland says that's enough. Billy Butler already a 400-plus hitter against Justin Verlander, and he's 1 for 3 with a double tonight. So a good time to go to the bullpen, bring on Joel Zamaya. And our Chevy call to the bullpen. Royals down 4-0 in the bottom of the 8th. Tigers trying to pick up Justin Verlander. He has pitched outstanding tonight, but still slamming his glove down. He wanted to go at least 8. But he gives up a double to Jason Kendall. That took 10 pitches. A single to David DeJesus. And now it's in the hands of the bullpen. Joel Zamaya hasn't allowed a single run in his last 5 games. And has a 1.78 ERA. 30 and a third innings for Zamaya. And his tops among all American League relievers. So he's had his work this year. He inherits Kendall at third, DeJesus at first, and we'll get Billy Butler. Billy 1 out of 3 against Verlander with a double. Billy 3 out of 7 in the first 2 games. Prior to that, he was just 2 out of 21. Miles an hour, 2 balls and no strikes. Back in the 6th inning, Butler getting it past Brandon Inge on the third base side. And that was getting around on a fastball at 101. So this isn't going to be a huge adjustment for the Royals. Facing Zamaya, they've been seeing this heat all night. Three balls and no strikes. So Zamaya is 1 pitch away from bringing the tying run to the plate with nobody out.
Yeah, great opportunity for the Royals right here. Billy's 3-0. Got to be a little patient right here. I know he's swinging the bat well, but give him a chance to walk him here and get that extra man on base.
And he walks him on 4 pitches. Joe Goldberg.
Well, let's take a look at the bullpen here in a second. On the Royals side, the phones must be broken because there were about 5 members of the Royals that were trying to flag down the bullpen. Finally got the attention of Bill Duplessis, the bullpen catcher. And there's the runner going right now to send the message. Just happens to be the guy that won the game last night. You don't need to get any random guy. Just send Bruce Chen down there, and he is going to sprint to give a message before this play. See, Bruce didn't even need to get in his workout yesterday. He's going to pass on whatever the message is, and they'll get all this figured out, guys.
Why do I get the suspicion that Bruce Chen said, "I'll go"? Now 5 in a row. That pitch hit 102, but it really doesn't matter if he's not throwing strikes. The Royals hoping that they can rally here and use Joakim Soria in the top of the 9th inning. Now Zamaya is going to get a visit from pitching coach Rick Knapp. Second year as pitching coach for the Tigers. And Rick Knapp has been a long time in the minor leagues. 26 years as a minor league player or coach before getting the Tigers job last year. And he comes from the Twins organization, so you know that he is one that preaches throwing strikes and getting ahead.
He's got some big arms to work with over there, I tell you. Getting those guys in the strike zone.
2 balls and no strikes. And now Zamaya starting to yell at himself. Now the Tigers think something might be wrong with Zamaya. Jim Leland is coming out with the trainer. And Zamaya having some problems with his right index finger. It could be a blister. You might remember back in 2007, Joel Zamaya was here at Kauffman Stadium. He was just warming up in the bullpen, and he injured the middle finger on his right hand, ended up having to have surgery on it. That was just the beginning of his problems. That offseason, he injured his shoulder. That was the year with all of those wildfires in Southern California, and that's where Zamaya is from. Those fires were getting close to his family's house. He was helping them unload boxes. A box fell on his shoulder. He had to have surgery on the shoulder. Started the 2008 season on the disabled list and has had problems ever since then. He's going to come out after missing with 6 consecutive pitches. It'll be left-hander Phil Cope. He'll come on with the bases loaded, nobody out. Appears to leave the game because of a blister on his right index finger. So this is the 3rd pitcher of the inning. Justin Verlander went 7 innings, gave up only 3 hits. Royals couldn't get anything going against him. But in this inning, Jason Kendall set the tone with a 10-pitch plate appearance against Verlander. The final result was a double. David DeJesus on an 0-2 pitch, single to left. Jim Leland goes to Zamaya. He walks Billy Butler on 4 pitches. And then Zamaya falls behind Jose Guillen. 2 balls and no strikes. And that's when Phil Cope comes into the game.
A great opportunity for the Royals right here, Ryan, to get back in the game. Jose, you got 2 balls, no strikes. Normally you'd be looking to hit in this situation with a new pitcher on the mound. You almost have to take a look at this pitch and see where it's at.
And it's over the inside corner. If Guillen reaches with a walk, that will belong to Zamaya. Jose 0 for 2 with a walk tonight and just 3 for his last 27. Three balls and 1 strike. Phil Cope coming over in that 3-team trade. The Tigers, the Diamondbacks, and the Yankees. The same trade that brought Austin Jackson here from New York. Also brought Phil Cope. Hit hard into left field. So hard that the Royals will get 1 run. So Jose Guillen drives in his 35th. It's a 3-run game. And the tying run is at first base with nobody out.
Well, the tough position Phil Cope to come into in the first place. Ryan, bases loaded. You got to face a guy like Jose Guillen. And he had him in the hole, 3-1. He had to throw him a strike. So if he had to take his druthers, he'd rather have that and give up 1 run than Jose hitting a grand slam.
Willie Bloomquist is going to run for him. And now Alberto Callaspo with the bases loaded, nobody out. You got the feeling that Jose was really making an effort tonight to slow things down. Taking some pitches, and that swing right there looked like he was swinging just to hit the ball hard, not trying to hit it out of the ballpark.
Well, I agree with you on that. And he knew he had him in the hole, and he had to come to him. He had to give him something to hit, so he had to make sure he didn't overswing and get too big and pop the ball up or even miss it.
Callaspo has faced Phil Koch twice. He has a single, and that single produced a run. DeJesus at third, Butler at second, Bloomquist at first. Royals get their first run in the bottom of the 8th. And Callaspo is not swinging at strikes.
Well, he's just gone a little bit further out than the first one. He's anticipating the left-hander being away from him, but he's got to get the ball on the plate so he can do something with it.
Thought about it. That's a very good pitch. That had more to do with Callaspo's ability to lay off it. I think that's exactly where Phil Koch wanted to go.
I agree with you, Ryan. He wanted to go down underneath the swing. He had him stretched out so far on the outside that a pitch coming back to him under the swing was a pitch to call. And Alberto did a good job just holding up on that swing.
The Royals lead the major leagues and come from behind victories. Trying to do it again tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Royals have as many hits in this inning than they did in the first 7. Kendall has doubled, DeJesus has singled, Butler has walked, Ian has singled. Puts the ball in play. Cabrera, that'll lead him to second base. No double play, and it's a 4-2 game.
That's another ball that's well off the plate. And how he got this much of the bat on the ball, I'm not sure. But you see what Miguel Cabrera ranged far to his right to make this play. And probably further than any first baseman I've seen go this way. And Phil Koch got over him in good fashion to get that return throw, but Alberto beat the throw.
Jim Leland is going to go with his 4th pitcher of the inning, and it's the closer, Jose Valverde, trying to get 5 outs from him. bottom of the 8th inning. Valverde with a 0.42 ERA. He's given up just 1 run in 21 2/3 innings and is not allowed a run in his last 21 outings. The only run he has allowed is here at Kauffman Stadium. And it was a game started by Luke Kochaver. Royals had a 1-0 lead in the 9th inning. Miguel Cabrera hit a home run off the right field foul pole to tie it. And then in the 11th against Valverde, the Royals won 3-2. He has not given up a run since. Almost exactly 2 months ago. A strike over the outside. Aviles 1 out of 3, singled in the 5th inning. This is the first time Mike has faced Valverde. And again, the Tigers have the Royals reaching away and appears to be off the plate.
So those swings are really more like defensive swings. They're just probably not picking the ball up well and then trying to be protective at the same time. But here with 2 strikes, this is where you want to see that kind of swing. But earlier you want to see full swings on pitches that you can do something with.
They're going to set up outside, and Aviles grounds it right to Guillen. Out at second base. Double play, inning over. The Royals get 2 in the bottom of the 8th. And the bases loaded, nobody out. It's a 2-run game. Stands out. It was a 1-0 game, and the Tigers, after 2 were out and nobody on, they scored 3 against Blake Wood. Well, the Royals come back with 2 in the bottom of the 8th, and because of that, they're still down by 2. Dusty Hughes is out of the Royals bullpen to face Ramon Santiago, Austin Jackson, and Don Kelly. '23rd game for Dusty. He's going to get a switch hitter, a right-hand batter in Jackson, and a left-hand batter in Kelly. 2 balls and no strikes. And drilled into left field. And Posednik at the plate on a couple of bounces. Santiago takes a wide turn. He'll hold with a leadoff single. So Santiago has a 2-hit game.
And what the Royals want to try to do here, Ryan, is just keep it where it's at. You don't want this game to get any further than where it is. You know, have going into your last frame. They keep it at 2. They got an outside chance. They give up runs here. That make that battle a lot tougher.
Austin Jackson is 0 for 9 in the series. And over a little longer stretch, 0 for his last 11. Santiago, which has 1 stolen base this year. No balls and 1 strike. Talking about this a little bit last night, Austin Jackson has a big leg kick. But against left-hand pitchers, and he's had his problems with lefties this year, it's a much smaller leg kick, trying to widen out his stance, give himself more balance so he's not out in front. So he's got one approach against the righties and another against the lefties. When he was coming up through the Yankees organization, he had a big leg kick, and his hitting coach right behind him in the windbreaker, Lloyd McClendon, noticed that he had abandoned that when he was in spring training with the Tigers. He'd watched some video and noticed that Austin Jackson in the minor leagues had a nice leg kick, good leverage. But the Yankees tried to take that away from Jackson because of all of his strikeouts. Lloyd McClendon said, "Hey man, when I saw you on video, you were doing your best work with the leg kick. Bring it back." And so he did. And Austin Jackson, even though he has struggled in this series, is hitting .327. But he'll shorten it up against the lefties.
That's a huge improvement in his offense. The one area that I think the Yankees are probably looking for is trying to improve the walk total of it. But I think the Tigers, which is an offensive-minded ball club, would rather have the offense and have him out there that way.
Well, the center fielder that they lost in the trade that brought Jackson to Detroit, Curtis Granderson, was someone who struck out a lot as a leadoff
right.
guy.
And even though he had the speed, didn't utilize his speed the way he probably should have been used on the base. So I kind of wonder if, in time, if Austin Jackson is not used to steal more bases, would that hurt him overall?
0 for 5 tonight, and now 0 for 10 in the series. And now Dusty will go after Don Kelly. 0 for 4 so far, but 2 of those outs are line outs to the outfield. Oh and 1. Throwing strikes, no balls, 2 strikes. It's been a while since Dusty has pitched. Last took the mound on Sunday at Boston. Allowed a home run to Jason Varitek. So he didn't pitch at all during the Angels series. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kelly. And now he wants a new baseball. At the moment, if you're here at Kauffman Stadium, there is plenty to look at. Obviously, watching the game, a 2-run game, it's hard to keep your eyes off of the brand new scoreboard and a brilliant sky behind that, with shades of orange and red, some flashes of lightning just to the north. at the sunset, giving us a very colorful sky. Doesn't appear that that storm system is going to threaten Kauffman Stadium, but it's certainly something to watch.
That's beautiful to watch, that's for sure. We just hope it keeps going the way it's going.
Two balls, two strikes. That will land in the lower seats. Kendall to the screen to give it a look. Of course, that guy gets booed. That's a tough play. Maybe that's what you get for not having your sunglasses on. You might have lost that in the lights. Three and two. Royals in the bottom of the ninth. We'll have Mitch Meyer, Unievsky, Betancourt, and Scott Pasednik. On one hand, and this inning is moving very slowly, that's not necessarily a bad thing for the Royals. Let Jose Valverde sit on the bench for a long time. Meyer back with lightning above him, and he makes the catch on Kelly. Two down, and Santiago back to first. Here's tonight's Miller Lite Taste Greatness Moments. And Luke Hochevar, the best he can hope for tonight is a no decision.
You're right, Ryan. I'll tell you, he's got to feel good about his performance. Been through some tough situations, but only gave up one run, and really the two walks came late. But he had an assortment of fastballs, slider, his splitter, and his curveball. All those worked well for him today.
So 1 run, 6 hits in 7 innings for Hochevar and a season high 10 strikeouts. So the Royals don't want to see the Tigers add on to their lead, obviously, but if this is a long inning, and closers usually come on for the 9th inning, every now and then we'll be asked to get more than 3 outs. So Valverde warming up, comes into the game, gets a couple of outs, and the longer he sits on the bench, the better chance that he loses his rhythm. And the Royals are looking for any advantage they can get against Valverde the way he's pitched this year. He is working on his 22nd consecutive appearance without allowing a run.
Well, one thing, he's not sitting there in one spot. He's up, moving around, talking, and hopefully that'll help him stay loose. Make sure he doesn't get stuck in one place too long. But you're right, Ryan. Closers aren't used to those up and downs, as they say, and that could make a big difference. If the Royals keep it right here, I'm sure they're hoping that it will make a difference.
Not only walking around, it looks like he's in some sort of a debate with Carlos Guillen on the bench. Hughes diving, floating it to Butler, and that ends the inning. So we'll see what happens in the bottom of the ninth. Meyer, Betancourt, and Pasednik coming up. charge to Verlander in the 8th, although he was out when those runs came around to score. It'll be Mitch Meyer, Yuniesky Betancourt, and Scott Posednik. Jose Valverde going for a 5-out save. And he throws strike 1 to Mitch. Valverde coming on to face Mike Aviles with runners at first and third and 1 out in the 8th inning, and got Mike to ground into a double play. Meyer so far 0 for 3. And he pulls that to Cabrera, and there is 1 out. So Cabrera has had another good game at the plate. He's also had a good game in the field.
Just a little surprised there that Mitch didn't take a few more pitches there and just try to make Valverde work a little harder, being the first guy up in the inning.
Betancourt 0 for 2, and he's been on with a 4-pitch walk. Betancourt has only faced Valverde once, and he is 0 for 1. Valverde replacing Fernando Rodney as Tigers closer this year. We just saw Rodney with the Angels. And a big bounce to Guillen. So 2 ground balls and 2 away. And Valverde is quite the showman. So he closes this thing out. We're going to see a celebration on the field. Valverde with the Astros last year, 25 saves. The 2 years prior to that, he led the league in saves, 44 with Houston, 47 with Arizona. 0-1 on Posednik. 7-game hitting streak for Scott, but tonight 0 for 4. And that's what he is against Valverde, 0 for 4. He does have a walk. And he comes out throwing strikes. Cabrera has it go off of his glove, and the Royals are still breathing. It's an error on Cabrera.
So he really didn't have to play this ball this way, Ryan. He tried to catch and run to the bag at the same time. But at first base, you got to get in front of this ball and block this ball and hope the pitcher gets over and cover first base. You know, that's an error that really shouldn't happen right there.
We mentioned it back in the 5th inning when Ramon Santiago was hit with an error. And for the Tigers, that's their league-leading 44th and now 45th error. But for the most part, those errors haven't really hurt Detroit. Some have, but for the most part, errors in non-critical situations. Sednick takes off. It's ball 1. Tigers not worried about him, so no stolen base. So we'll see if this time the Royals make the Tigers pay because of the error.
Well, you just can't get away with that for a long period of time. Sooner or later, the floodgates open up on you whenever you make an error. It starts to go the other way, too. So, you know, leading the league in errors, that is bad by itself. But just to come back and think that, well, you know, they're not hurting us as a team and kind of justifying that way, that's not very good either, because sooner or later it will start to hurt you as a team.
2-0 to Kendall. He is 0 for 5 against Valverde. If you're wondering about a game-tying home run, you have to go back to September the 29th, last time that Jason Kendall hit a home run. Two and 1. Tigers really had to scramble in the 8th inning after Verlander didn't retire the first 2 hitters. Joel Zamaya came on, walked a hitter, fell behind the next one, and had to leave with what we think was a blister. 2-2 to Kendall, so that shook up Jim Leland's plans. He had to bring on Phil Koch, a left-hander, to face Jose Guillen. And the Royals jumped on that. Guillen singled in a run. Alberto Piaspo rounding into a fielder's choice for the first out of the inning. That scored a run, and then Leland had to bring on Valverde with only one out in the 8th inning. And he was able to get 2 outs against 1 hitter. With Aviles grounding into the double play. He's only had to throw 13 pitches. Kendall going to give Valverde a fight. The Royals' 2-run inning in the 8th began when Kendall made Verlander throw 10 pitches. 6 of those were foul balls. Jason fell behind early, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now he's going to make Valverde throw at least 6.
I think Jason just got that nice short swing. He doesn't try to do a lot. He's not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Just trying to make a nice short swing and just try to hit a line drive into the outfield.
And that's lined into right field. Well hit. Back goes Bosch, and he runs it down. So the Tigers hang on. Final score is 4-2. Valverde gets to 5 outs. And Justin Verlander wins his 6th. Coach Haber pitched a great game, but he takes a loss.